Okay, happy Halloween hangover day. Everybody has got a chocolate hangover, I'm sure, from eating way too many treats last night. Is that right, Julius? Yeah, you can tell. So these four questions are our warm up this morning. The first question is from 6-1. The second question comes from I guess just the second question comes from 6-3, and the last two questions come from 6-4. So the instructions say no modeling, how to solve it. So the first one is not so bad because we've already practiced how to solve it without modeling. And it says 3/4 times 5. If you took 3/4 and multiplied it by 5, how many quarters would you have? If you ask yourself that question, you can get the answer of 15 quarters without too much difficulty. Because if you have 3/4 and you multiply it by 5, you will have 15 quarters. Once you have 15 quarters written as an improper fraction, you just have to ask yourself, well, what is that as a mixed fraction? How many 4s in 15? There are 3. That's 12 quarters plus 3 more left over. Your final answer would be 3 3/4 as a mixed fraction. Now your second question, which comes from 6-3, the process we learned how to solve it without modeling is very simple. Multiply your numerators, multiply your denominators, and you'll get the answer. So 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 9 is 36. 24 over 36 is your answer, but it's not in lowest terms. Both numerator and denominator, what's the largest number that's divisible into both 24 and 36? The largest number. Anyone know? That's right, the number 12. Both are divisible by 12. So 24 divided by 12 is 2, and 36 divided by 12 is 3. And you get your final answer of 2/3 in lowest terms. However, there are some people in this room who have realized that, I've said it a million times, that when multiplying fractions, the first thing you should always look for, if you can what? That's right, cross reduce. Boy, you guys are really energetic this morning, I'll tell you that much. So if you look across here, and you cross reduce 3 over 9, what would 3 over 9 be in lowest terms? Thank you very much, 1/3. We have an alive person today. And if you were to cross reduce the other way, 8 over 4 could be reduced down to what? No, 2 over 1, right? And when you multiply the numerators and the denominators now, 1 times 2 and 1 times 3, you get that answer that we had before. But instead of reducing 12 over 36, we've already reduced the fractions at the start, and we've had our lowest term fraction without having to worry about reducing that. Question 3 says 1 1/2 times 2/3. So what we talked about last day is when you have mixed fractions, the easiest way to multiply them without modeling is to simply change them into improper fractions instead. So 1 1/2 is really 3/2 multiplied by 2 over 3. Now, if you think about this and you cross-reduce, this is going to be one of those questions that if you cross-reduce it, it's going to become quite easy to solve. 3 over 3 will become 1 over 1. 2 over 2 will become 1 over 1. And when you figure it all out, what's your answer going to be? 1 over 1, which is just 1. Now, if you didn't cross-reduce, it ain't no thing, because you could just take 3 times 2 over 2 times 3, and you get 6 over 6, which in lowest terms is just equal to 1. And finally, your last question says 1 3/4 times 2 1/2 without modeling. We are going to talk about the modeling today because we are still working on how to model a mixed fraction times a mixed fraction. But what we're going to do is we're just going to change them into improper. Oh, that's not 7/3. That's 7/4, isn't it? So 1 3/4 is really 7/4 multiplied by how many halves would there be in 2 1/2? There would be 5 halves. So we're going to change it like this. If you look across, can you cross-reduce these two fractions? Is there anywhere you can cross-reduce? No, there isn't. So when we multiply, we're going to go 7 times 5 over 4 times 2, which becomes 35 over 8, which is your answer as an improper fraction. How many 8s are there in 35? There are 4 of them. That's 32 eighths. So 32 eighths is 4. Since I have 35 eighths, I have 3 left over. So your final answer is 4 3/8.